With Claude Skills, you can now create fully responsive modern websites, AI videos, presentation decks, LinkedIn posts, and so much more. And you can do all of this with just a prompt. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the 10 best skills you can use to automate 90% of your work. And I'm going to teach you how to find them, how to install them, and how to use them. But before we go through them, I want to do a quick recap on what Claude Skills actually are. And if you already know all about it and want to jump right into the skills, feel free to jump to this timestamp right here. Claude Skills are markdown files that teach Claude how to do something once. Claude then applies that knowledge automatically whenever it's relevant and is able to pick on the right skill for the right request. So for example, if I create a skill called brand guidelines and I fit it with my logo, my fonts, the colors of my text, etc., the next time I create marketing content and I ask Claude to do it, it will remember that it has a skill called brand guidelines. You'll be able to pick up on it and build me content that goes in line with those guidelines previously set. That will save me a lot of reprompting, a lot of time, but also a lot of context that goes into the window and that makes Claude full. And there are two ways in which you can use Claude: in the web app experience or in an IDE or terminal. I'm going to show you how to use skills in both of these options right now. So a lot of you will be using Claude in the classic experience, whether on web or on the app. And the way you create a skill is by going to projects here on the left and then hitting new project. Then what you want to do is go to the place where you can find skills. So for example, if you go to my website, which the link is in the description, you can find here a list of 15 different skills. You can select one. So let's select this one. And you'll find yourself in a page like this. Here you'll be able to find a skill MD file. You click on it and it takes you to a page like this that sort of describes what the skill is. You can then go to this button that says raw, click on it, and you'll find a raw page like this. You're going to click Control A or Command A if you're on a Mac, select all, Control C to copy, and then you go back to your Claude, you name it whatever you want. So in this case, Presentation Builder. And then you create the project. You'll then go here to the right-hand side on instructions, click plus, paste the information that you got from the skill.md raw file and save instructions. And then right here, you have your skill ready to go. So every conversation that you have in this chat box will have that skill internalized and you'll be able to access it and leverage it right here. But if you really want to take skills to a next level, I recommend you to use it in the IDE, an integrated development environment. And for that, I recommend you to use VS Code because it's free and it's the simplest way. So if you go to Google, search for download VS Code, you find this link right here. And depending on the device that you have, you select the right option. You download it. And once you do, it will look something like this. And it looks a little bit scary, but don't worry. It's actually really, really simple to use. And if you want a full breakdown on how to use Claude Code, I made another video right here, which you can find on my channel or on the link in the description. And that is a really good starting point for you to learn the basics of Claude Code and how to use it on an IDE. What you then have to do is to install Claude Code. So you have to go here to the left-hand side of the screen to this little button that says extensions, click on it, and then write Claude. You'll find the first option right here, which is Claude Code for VS Code, and hit the button install. Once it's installed, it's going to ask you for your credentials because you have to connect it to your own Claude account. And bear in mind, you will need a paid plan to be able to access Claude Code via your VS Code. It costs roughly $20 a month, but in my opinion, it's 100% worth it. What I then quickly do normally is to create a folder, which I can open within my VS Code. So I'm going to create this one quickly right here called Project S. And then I'm going to go to my VS Code, select it, and open it. And you can see here on the left that I have my folder open. I will then find this button right here for Claude, which now that I have it installed, I'll be able to click on it and drag it so I have it on the main screen. That makes Claude a lot more user-friendly in my opinion. And then normally what I do is I create a .claude folder on the left-hand side within my existing folder and I complement it with skills. This is where I add all of the skills that I'm going to be using. So now we have the full setup. How do we actually go about downloading different skills? Well, once you're here, you go to my website here where I put a list of different skills that you can access. If you click on one of them, all of the pages will look something like this. And this is a GitHub repository where skills are normally stored. And you'll always be able to find a skill.md file. This is where the skill lives. What you want to do is, instead of copying this link right here, you want to go to the master branch, so the first link here, and copy the link on top. Not the whole link, exclude tree main, but copy this section of the link, go back here, open a terminal, and write git space clone space and add your URL and then click enter. And that's going to download the skill for you. In fact, it's not only going to download that skill, but if it's part of a larger repository, it will download all of the skills within that environment. And I know I went through it quite quickly because I want to get right into the top 10 skills. But if you want to go a lot more in depth, I made this video right here where I go step by step on how you can find, download, and install skills, but also how you can create your own skills that match the business need that you have. And of course, if you need help with setting up your skill, get in touch via my website right here, sellingwithnas.com, or you can find it in the link in the description. But now let's jump right into my top 10 best Claude skills. And the first skill is creating presentation decks. I'm sure that at some point you've had to create a presentation deck about whatever topic. And in this one in specific, it's called PPTX. You'll be able to invoke that skill once you have it downloaded by simply clicking / and then hitting PPTX, and it'll appear right here. You click on it, and the skill will ask you a question. What would you like to do? Create something from scratch, edit an existing presentation, or read and analyze content. You have all these three options. What I'm going to do right here is create something from scratch because I want to show you how good it actually is. Now, what is the presentation going to be about? This is what the skill is asking you. And normally you give it a topic, a purpose, the number of slides, and then a specific content. I'm going to keep it super simple, and I'm going to say the presentation is about how to use Claude Skills to automate your marketing content. It's to teach at a university, and it should be 5 slides. Make it pretty and in tones of blue. And it's going to go away and start working on the presentation. It will take between 5 and 10 minutes typically, but you'll see that it will be able to produce a file that looks just like this. It'll be able to produce this sort of layout. So it did follow the 5 slides recommendation. And now let's see what the presentation actually looks like. I could simply access it by clicking this link, but I have it saved in my folder, which I created. And here we are. This is the presentation. So there's a few things that I really like about this. 1, I asked for 5 slides, and that's exactly what it gave me. 2, I asked to use tones of blue, and that's exactly what it gave me. 3, I didn't say what the presentation should focus on. I just said, make a presentation about Claude Skills for marketing. And it was able to create the content because of course, this is AI usage. So it created the content, created the narrative, and here you go. This is exactly how you can use Claude Skills for marketing. It could be prettier, true, and there's a way of making it prettier. I'm not going to go in depth into that, but this is a skill that I really, really like. Skill number 2, being able to create fully modern websites with a single prompt. And this skill is called front-end design skill, and it kind of looks like this. And by the way, all of the skills that I'm mentioning in this video are going to be in the link in the description. You'll be able to find them, click on them, install them, and use them for yourself. This is a pretty cool one because all you have to do is roughly prompt Claude with the concept of the website that you want to build. And in no time, it's going to produce an output. I just created a very simple website that says, that we scale Shopify brands with profitable meta ads. And this is what it created. It's pretty cool for a first creation. But then something that I really like is the fact that you can add different elements like your logo, like more different colors, like different text, and Claude will automatically make those adjustments based on your request. And instead of using the typical AI slop, like the classic AI type of website, he actually goes and creates a really cool branding depending on what you wanted. This was the first version of what I got, but then I got it edited for colors in a style that matched what I wanted better. And then I did something pretty cool, which was I said, I really like this type of website. This is what it currently looks like. Can you make it look more like this? And it went away and it created this with the animations and everything. And I think that's pretty amazing. And having a skill that's able to make those adjustments with a simple prompt is pretty awesome. Skill number 3 is essentially using Remotion to create AI videos. And I think this one is super, super impressive. It uses quite a few tokens, but I want to show you what it looks like while I use it on my web app. Once you install it, all you have to do is sort of just prompt Claude to create a video to your taste. And you can actually specify if you want the video horizontally, vertically, for what platform you're using it for, and Claude will adjust the video to match your preference. In this case here, I uploaded the Claude mascot that looks like this. And I said, create a 10-second video of the Claude mascot, ingesting 3 skill.md files, falling from the sky, and every time it should shine and become a little bit bigger. And Claude went away, started thinking, and it gave me this. So it describes what the video is going to look like. It says how long it's going to be, and it gives me every element that I need to understand the video. And then there's a QuickTime Player button right here. I'm going to click on it, and this is what the video looks like. So that's pretty awesome. I got all of that from uploading the Claude mascots and essentially saying, make this a reality. And there's so many other types of videos that you can create. Like I've created this one, which is a simple presentations type video. I've created this one as well. So the flexibility you can have is really big with this skill. Skill number 4 is a LinkedIn post generator. And I created this for LinkedIn, but it could have been for literally anything else. I mean, I could have used 2 different skills, like the previous one that I mentioned about creating AI videos, and this one, and maybe create an Instagram or a TikTok video generator. But this one is for LinkedIn in specific. And what I did was I gave it a title and a description, which is right here. And by the way, if you don't know how to create your own skill and you want to adjust and you want to create your own, make sure to check this video out because I teach you here how exactly you should create a skill and what are the parameters that you should follow. But you can see here, I give some context, a description of what the skill should be about. And I created this skill myself. So you can find it in the link in my description as well, in my website. And you can see here the structure of what I want the LinkedIn post to be. So I wanted to have a hook, an insight, a breakdown, and a takeaway. I want to make sure I don't sound like a corporate brand, a motivational speaker, a guru. And then what I did was I added some examples of previous LinkedIn posts that I've written so that Claude knows roughly how to write or how to build them. And then lastly, further down, I added some guidelines as well. So a writing style and formatting and an emphasis on hooks as well, because I want to make sure that is really, really simple and that's really crisp. And I want to also avoid, an overly motivational tone or a fake storytelling kind of narrative. So now that I have this skill, I'm going to hit / LinkedIn post generator. And the skill is going to ask me, what do you want the post to be about? And I'm going to say, build a post about distribution being more important than building tech products these days. And literally in 3 seconds, Claude's going to write a full LinkedIn post using this skill. So everyone's building, nobody's distributing. The hardest part of launching a product used to be building it. Now you can spin it up in a weekend with AI tools. It's okay. It's not a bad LinkedIn post. I can imagine using this. And if you want to build it yourself or if you want to use this skill, go ahead, go to the link in the description and feel free to copy it. The next skill I want to share with you is a web asset generator. And this can be used for social media images, but also for open graph images, for favicons. And I'm going to show you an example of how you can use it. So you can see here on the left-hand side, I've already downloaded the skill, web asset generator. And I launched it and it said, you can use it by asking things like create a favicon or create an open graph image or make an emoji. So I'm going to say, I have a website right here. And then I'm going to copy the link of my website and say, can you create a favicon for my website? It should be an SWN. And that's it. I'm not going to say anything else. For those of you who don't know, a favicon is this little widget that appears right here whenever you have a website open on your desktop. It's going to ask me a couple of questions, the skill. It's going to say, what colors would you like it to be? I'm going to select my brand colors. And do you want this for device as well? Okay, I'm going to say favicon only. And it's going to ask me, what are your brand hex color codes? So I'm just going to go to my website really quickly. I'm going to get my color codes. I'm going to put them into hex. And then I'm going to say, yeah, it's these two. And I actually want to make them gradient. So the hex colors are a gradient color between this and this. It's going to go away again, ask me a couple of questions, and eventually it's going to give me this output. So I can see here on the left-hand side, if I drop down on favicon output, I'll be able to see these files. Let's open one of them. And yeah, this is what it created. It's not exactly what I was looking for. I actually wanted the letters to be in the gradient and not the surrounding, but I can easily upload this to my website and it'll probably look somewhat decent. And if I want to edit it, I could just prompt it and say, hey, can you actually edit this image? You can also do the exact same for your social media channel, like for an Instagram post or for a LinkedIn post or whatever you want, which can save you quite a lot of time. Skill number 6 is a web artifact / And you can see that I also have the skill downloaded right here on the left-hand side. So what does this actually do? Well, let's launch it. I'm going to hit / select the skill, and it's going to launch. And it's going to ask me, what would you like me to build as a web artifact? Now, there's many different things that you can build, and you can see right here the options. A dashboard / analytics page, a tool, a landing page, or something else. And this is essentially a way to visualize things, like a dashboard, for example. So this is exactly what I'm going to select. And then it's going to ask me, what kind of dashboard? Please describe what data, metrics, or analytics you want to display. And I'm going to keep it relatively simple here. I'm just going to say, I want to have access to a sales dashboard with some traffic channel analysis by week and month. Give me a blueprint I can work from. So I'm keeping it fairly vague here, but I just want you to see the level of output it's able to create in a matter of minutes. This skill is pretty amazing. So it's going to think a little, it's going to create it. And once that is done, you're going to be able to see this dashboard. So from that simple prompt, you're able to see right this. Honestly, this is pretty amazing. It is responsive, so it works. You can see here that you can see the numbers. If you scroll down, you can see the sessions by channel, so bar charts, this type of information. And if I wanted to build a dashboard for my own business and I wanted to make it interactive and I want to make it relatively modern so I can share it with other people as well, this is probably a skill that I would use rather than just putting it on Excel. So if you work as part of a larger team, both this skill and the next one that I'm going to talk about is something that you definitely want to use it and maybe stand out a little more here and there. Because the next skill, skill number 7, is a meeting analyzer. And this can be quite cool because if you work as part of a team and there is a transcript of some sort of your meeting, because I know a lot of teams have AI agents that kind of listen to the conversation and produce like a transcript of that meeting. And this is especially useful if you're a sales representative as well. You can then use this skill to summarize all of that. And I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. So I'm going to go here to the left-hand side. This is called Meetings Insight Analyzer. You go / you launch that, and it's going to say, well, no transcript files were found in this directory. Of course, I haven't actually uploaded it yet. It's going to ask me questions, but instead of doing all of them, what I'm going to do is copy a file from an imaginary meeting that I have and add it here. And this is what the file looks like. So it's like 4 pages of just text. And I'm going to say I have added the meeting transcript in the project root, and then I'm going to do add. And whenever you do add, it allows you to select a file. So I'm going to select the file. Can you please summarize it and give me the actions and next steps? And it's going to go away. It's going to analyze the document, and it's going to give me this output right here. And I think this is pretty insane. So it gives me some context. Fine. So the meeting was about the weekly target. We have a gap. And then this is the week status, this is the pipeline, this is the outbound, and most importantly, these are the action items for each person and the timeline as well. So if you're quite early on in your career, or if you're looking for an opportunity to shine within your team, you might want to use this skill and then send it after each meeting. It looks like you did a lot of work, but in reality, Claude did the work for you. But yeah, this is a pretty amazing skill and allows you to stay on top of business if you have a lot of meetings. Skill number 8 is pretty underrated, and it's a file organizer. You can see right here on the left. And if you launch it, what it does is it's going to read through your folders and understand how you can best optimize them to, well, for you to stay organized. So here it just says current state analysis because it just analyzed the project route that I'm using for this video. And it's saying, well, this is what I recommend you to do. This is your organization plan. And then he asks me, well, do you want me to go ahead with a structure or do you prefer a different approach? So if I just say yes, it will actually reorganize the folder for me, which is pretty amazing. But instead of showing you my own folders, which I won't do because it has, well, my personal information, I'm going to show you here the things that you can do. This is the actual skill. And the first example it gives, which I'm sure it applies to you because it definitely applies to me. If your downloads folder is a chaotic mess, or if you have, I don't know, if you want to find duplicates and delete them or analyze the current structure or whatever, or some of these examples are pretty spot on. Organize downloads into proper folders or clean up old files that you haven't touched in 6 months, or even organize your photos folder. These are examples of things that you can completely automate. And sometimes these folders, at least for me, they go out of proportion. I mean, I have way too many files across my laptop, and maybe you do too. So you might want to use this skill to clean that up. Skill number 9 is actually something that I've mentioned earlier in this video, and it's called brand guidelines, which I have right here on the left-hand side. Now, instead of using my own brand guidelines, which I don't really have, I'm going to use the Anthropic one. So this is the official skill for their brand guidelines. And what I recommend you to do is to download it and then adjust it so that it has your brand guidelines. So your colors, your fonts, and everything. But this is what it looks like. They specify the main colors, the accent colors, the typography, the text styling, and things like that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch this skill, brand guidelines. And then I'm going to say, build me an artifact saying selling with NAS with the above brand guidelines. I'm just going to imagine that this is my colors and my style, which I don't really have one, to be honest. But let's see what it actually creates. So it's going to think for a bit, and it's going to give me this. Now, this is not exactly what I want, so I'm just going to say, give me the link to open the file in the browser, because I'm just being lazy right now. So it's going to give me the link, and I'm going to open it. Here we are, selling with us. And it has the Anthropic's guidelines. So this is the Claude official coloring and fonts and spacing and everything. And you can create so many different marketing materials, presentation decks, and whatever it is that you want with your own brand guidelines. Think about the different skills that I've presented throughout this video, from the presentation deck builder right in the beginning to the web artifact builder, like the dashboards and stuff, and even the social media content. If you create a separate skill for brand guidelines, whenever you use any of the other skills, you'll be able to build those things with your branding. And that's honestly excellent. So yeah, this is definitely one that I recommend you to always have for your brands. And by the way, I know that creating a skill or maybe even downloading different skills and creating a workflow can be a little bit complicated at times. So if you want support in doing that, feel free to reach out to me via my website. The link is right down below in the description, or just go to my website, sellingwithnas.com, and I'm more than happy to see if I can help you. Now, going back to the regular schedule. And now my 10th and last skill. This is another really underrated one, but it's about PDFs, the most boring document type on earth. This is what the skill actually does, because you're probably wondering, why would I need a skill for PDFs? Well, have you tried merging two PDFs, or splitting one, or extracting metadata, or extracting text with the right layout? Like, have you tried copying the text from a PDF and adding it on a Word document or in a Google Sheets? It's horrible. Everything gets deformatted. Or if you try to split a PDF into two documents, it's so difficult for no reason. And I'm loving the fact that Claude has a skill to fix this. So let me show you how it actually works. I'm going to go right here, and I have a PDF, which is super boring. I'm just going to add it here to my Claude, and then I'm going to launch the skill. And it's going to say the PDF skill is ready. What would you like me to do? One of the things that you can do is add a watermark to a PDF. How cool is that? Imagine building a lead magnet that you send out to different prospects, and you want to make sure they don't steal it from you because you put it in a public channel. You can add a watermark so that people see that it's yours. And it's quite difficult to remove it as well, which is great. But here I'm going to say, look at my PDF here, and I'm going to put at medical tourism and split the first page from the rest of the document. I just want to see if this works. I'm pretty sure it will. And it's going to start thinking. It's going to go ahead and create two split documents. And I'm just going to go here to my folder and check if it actually worked. So I can see here there are three documents. So the original one that I uploaded, which is this, and now this one with just the first page, and this one with the rest of the document. So that worked, which is pretty awesome. So that was just me going through 10 different Claude Code skills, which I think are completely insane and can automate so much of your work. At least it does for me. So go ahead, give them a try. Go to the link in the description to my website, where you can find this and many other skills that you can download and that you can use on your own Claude. If you need help with implementing any of these, feel free to reach out to me, also via my website, sellingwithnas.com. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, comment down below with any of your questions, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because I have a lot more amazing content coming soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.